about my little bro. That was probably the biggest under-exaggeration.
Kool-Aid, if you guys talk about Duncan Robinson's defense, I got a good take on it for one.
Oh, goodness.
So, I don't know when you guys are going to talk about it, but...
Right off the bat.
Yeah, definitely talk about it more in the opener.
It's time to wake up, Woodward. The most listened to Detroit sports morning show is about to start. Start your day with a warm cup of Flannel Sam. Or how about a full cup of Detroit Kool-Aid?
Oh, yeah.
Mix in a little JB, and you got yourself the breakfast of champions. Live guests, fan reactions, and updates for your favorite teams. Wake Up Woodward is live now on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
What up, though, people? It's Wake Up Woodward. We appreciate you all for choosing to kick off your day with the WUW Crew. Truly do appreciate all of you, chat family, if you can. Let's go ahead and start to run up those likes. And you know what? We got a lot to talk about in Detroit sports, even though right now we only have one team that's playing Flannel Sam. It's your boy Brandon Dan, a.k.a. Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter and writer for the network. Flannel Sam, the vet of the squad, the vet of the network, man. All sports knower, all sports lover. What up, though, brother?
Hey. More moves or lack thereof being made by our Detroit sports teams. Good news is we get to talk about both of them.
Yeah, and you know what? Who better to talk about it with than the legend Rod Beard? It took everything in my power to not say Detroit News Rod Beard. Shout out to him, senior sports editor down at the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and I can't wait to talk about these moves. And we got to talk about his Atlanta Hawks, who decided no, they don't want to be a dysfunctional team, or at least they're masquerading somewhat like it.
Yeah.
But we got a special Swisher break. Here's a few questions here to be able to put the Pistons off-season so far to the test. And you guys already know the Pistons. This is the off-season of pivot. You know, Trajan Langdon. We gotta ask ourselves, like, we want Jalen Duren, we want the footwork in the off-season of pivot with the news of Malik Beasley and now having to do everything different with your off-season. Does Trajan Langdon got that footwork down pat? We're gonna talk about it, but you want to tell the people it's what's on the menu? It's not a big menu, but it is very good.
Just basically Pistons, Red Wings, Rod Beard. The Pistons made a move. The Red Wings didn't make many. I'll just say that. And Rod Beard's gonna be here to talk about it all. And the Tigers were rained out too. Play a doubleheader today, so a lot of Tigers baseball. Probably a lot to talk about tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. And it's going to be interesting with them. This is a team who continues to get over the adversity, and I just want to see what this team is. Don't coast into the All-Star. Don't coast into any solutions. Just continue to be the BTA Tigers that we've known to be this first half of the season. But we got to get into these things, man. Like, Pistons, we were wondering what they were going to do, and I think first things first with the offseason. The Schroeder to Sacramento Kings, just straight up signing. The Kings, overnight, when Trajan Langdon took some time on the deal, overnight found some ways to maneuver to get Schroeder a little bit more money and just sign him straight up, and then they didn't have to give up anything. It keeps them in a good position because they can still now go out and trade Malik Monk if they want to do that to bring in either draft picks or more assets that maybe the Detroit Pistons weren't willing to give up. And so we talk about the pivot with Malik Beasley. Now all of a sudden what we thought was going to be part of the solution is now a part of the thing that Trajan Langdon's have to pivot from part 2.0. And so they went and got Karis LeVert, which in hindsight is looking better and better. They went and said at the start of free agency, we know we're dealing with some type of noise. We have to lock down somebody who we believe can fill multiple roles for us from ISO position, ball handling, shot creation, shooting. Karis LeVert does a lot of that in athleticism if he can stay healthy. And then obviously once the Malik Monk news fell through, it's pivot. And I believe that as of right now, Duncan Robinson to the Pistons, 3-year deal. And it's the way that it's structured. Shout out to Amari Sankofa, who effectively laid it out quite beautifully. The last year, the deal is not guaranteed. only about half the deal in year 2 is guaranteed, and the first year obviously is going to be guaranteed for him. And the way the Pistons can do things, this can effectively be a 1-year deal or him flipped at a trade deadline this year or the year after. I think Trajan cooked on this.
I do too. Just spoiler alert, I do too. And yeah, 3 years, $48 million. It does seem like a little much for Duncan Robinson, but as you said, it really can be used as a 1-year deal. But when it comes to just Duncan Robinson, the basketball player, and this is going to sound like a lot, but I'm just going to say it. My bold prediction, and I don't even think it's that bold, by the end of this next season, 2025-26, including the playoffs, I think we will all be able to definitively say that Duncan Robinson was every bit as impactful for the Pistons as Malik Beasley was for the 2024-25 Pistons. Yes, I said it. I think this Duncan Robinson signing, even by the people who like it, is being slept on a tad, because you know what I love to do. When I found out that Duncan Robinson was a Piston, I dove deep into
Professor Flannel.
Yes, into the more of the nuances when it comes to just watching him play and into some of the numbers. So one of the reasons why I think that he can have a Malik Beasley-esque impact is because Duncan Robinson has had seasons where they've been almost on par with what Malik Beasley did last year. So, JB, if you have the Beasley-esque seasons to put up, because I love this. He's had 3 seasons that I believe were comparable to what Malik Beasley did last year. And remember, Malik Beasley was not what he was last year for the Pistons throughout his career. But in 1920, Duncan Robinson averaged 13.5 points per game on 45% from behind the arc. My goodness. 8.3 attempts per game and made a total of 273s. In 2020-21, Duncan Robinson averaged 13.1 points per game on 41% from behind the arc on 8.5 attempts per game, 253s made, which anything above 250 is amazing. Mm-hmm. Even more recently, 2023-24, even though he missed some games, I think he played 64, he averaged 12.9 points per game, 39.5% from behind the arc, which wasn't as good as those previous 2, but still excellent, on 7 attempts per game. He made 187 threes that season in total, and the only reason that total is under 200 is because he did miss, I believe, 18 games. So Duncan Robinson, he's had Beasley-esque seasons, but there's actually a lot more to that. Trust me, I'm not done. Do you want to go to the catch and shoot threes by season, Mr. JB?
Yep.
All right, so, and these are 4 seasons. In 1920 on catch and shoot threes, which really highlights how he could replace Beasley as like the movement shooter, average a ridiculous 46% on 6.9 attempts per game. In 2020-21, 41.7% on 6.4 attempts per game. And even more recently, 2023-24, 39.5% on 4.6 attempts per game. And last season, 38.7% on 4 attempts per game. I believe in order for Duncan Robinson to have that as impactful as Beasley's season, he is going to have to get that percentage above 40, and he's probably going to have more catch-and-shoot three-point attempts than he has the last couple of seasons. But we've seen him do it this decade. We've seen him do it at a slightly lesser level, and even the last couple seasons on slightly less volume. So Duncan Robinson, he can play, and I'm not done yet. I've got more, but I want to let you all respond before I inundate you with too many more numbers.
Yeah, and the most important thing about catch and shoot threes when you're already talking about a really good three-point shooter is who is he playing with? Oh, look at that. There's Cade Cunningham, the Cade Crusader. That, to me, makes one of the biggest differences. He's going to be playing with somebody in a team who is – the offense is designed to look for players like that, even more so to take advantage of those lanes. And I know that he doesn't necessarily have the athleticism that Ron Holland and Asar Thompson does, but he is going to be presented with his shooting ability, multiple opportunities to score at all 3 levels on his team. And one of the other things I like, his ability to facilitate off those looks. If somebody is over pursuing him and he knows he can throw the 3 or a little bit of hezzy, and he's going to send them into the first row on the other side of the court, he's adept at being able to put the ball into the court minimally 1 dribble, 2 dribble, and get the ball to the open player. These are things that you want. Players who minimal usage, under 20% usage a game. You know what to expect from him defensively, and I think that this team doesn't have to rely on him from a defensive usage standpoint. This, to me, bodes well for a squad in which reality you want to and you have to. This is the Pistons telling us. We have to depend on Asar, Jalen Duren, Jaden Ivey when he gets back, Cade Cunningham, Beef Stew, rightfully so, Tobias Harris. These other guys have to play their role. And that's why when you saw Duncan Robinson, I promise everybody out there that Trajan and Cole weren't going, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see his defense. They know the player that they're getting, and it's J.B. Bickerstaff's job now to make sure that he's playing them to their best possible position. And one more tidbit on the contract, Omari Sankofa stated that the deal amount was as high as it was because it had to meet certain requirements for sign and trade. And then they were able to go and protect themselves within the deal by only partially guaranteeing year 2 and no contract guarantee for year 3. This is a brilliant deal by Michael Blackstone in that front office in Trajan Landon.
Yes,
they cooked again. It's just Schroeder-esque.
Yes, and it was a signed trade. That's something that I probably should have mentioned at the beginning, but regardless of that, it was in my opinion, a very, very good acquisition. And I'm so glad that you mentioned the underrated facilitating, which he's developed in the last couple of years. The defense, although not being great, Malik Beasley wasn't a great defender either, and this team, the Pistons, has Asar Thompson, Ron Holland, Isaiah Stewart, etc., etc. JB, go to the other advantages over Beasley so I can really quantify some of those things that we were saying. First off, Duncan Robinson's 6'7", Malik Beasley is 6'4". Being taller helps you in the NBA. It helps you shoot over defenders. I think it even will help Duncan Robinson as a defender. And by the way, when it comes to defense, Duncan Robinson, 114.3 career defensive rating. Malik Beasley, 115.9 career defensive rating. And for those of you who don't know, being lower is better when it comes to defensive rating because those are the number of points that you let up per 100 possessions. I'm not even saying that the eye test confirms that Duncan Robinson is a better defender. It's just by this number, he's been slightly better throughout his career. And to me, when you look at the eye test, they're somewhat comparable. I'd say maybe Malik Beasley looks a little bit better, but Duncan Robinson has some physical advantages, like being 6'7", longer wingspan, etc., etc. And when it comes to his playmaking, Duncan Robinson has really developed that over the last couple of years in Miami. In the last 2 seasons, he's averaged 2.6 assists per game, which isn't anything to give him a cookie over, but when you're a Duncan Robinson type player, that's actually a lot. While Malik Beasley only 1.5 assists per game the last 2 seasons. Yep. So there's just more that I like about Duncan Robinson.
Definitely. And when you look at the assist percentage, when you go to the advanced metrics here, this is a stat that I really like because it's telling you what percentage of the assists and the playmaking going on during the time that this player is on the court that he's responsible for. Malik Beasley, we know that his job is to solely shoot. And maybe the reason why some of these other people do not have the totals that he does is because of the versatile all-around game that they may present. A few more traits. Malik Beasley's assist percentages over the last 3 years, 7%, 6%, and 8.9%. He talked about this budding facilitation game of one Duncan Robinson. Let's look at his assist percentages over the last 3 years. 9.7%, so kind of in that Beasley range, and then a big jump to 15.1 and 14.7. And when you look at even more of these other stats, like the even the defensive rebound percentage, like I love those components of who Duncan Robinson is. And when he's in the game, you know this guy, at least what these advanced metrics state is, what is this guy putting his attention to? How much is he contributing to the overall base of these team stats? So your team gets 10 rebounds, he has a higher rebounding percentage than Malik Beasley with his time on the court. He has a much greater assist percentage, and guess what? He can hit the 3 at a really good clip. Is he going to have the same volume? We don't know. Why? Because we know that he can take the extra dribble, and if he's off, you know what Duncan Robinson could do? One dribble and pass it to somebody else. And that, to me, I think bodes better for this Detroit Pistons offense. Sometimes, I wish Beasley hit his threes like he did in the regular season, but if you're off, sometimes I wish by game 5, it's like, pump fake and pass that boy to Cade. Pass it back. And sometimes you need a player like that. And, this is where I think some of the nuances when you're looking at on the pivot, on the fly, what are you going to do to bring in some players that can mesh? This is about these young players, and we've said this for 2 years now. These young guys got to take the charge. The Rockets, the Orlando Magic, even the Atlanta Hawks. These are all on their young players. Trae Young was drafted there. Reese Shea drafted there. These guys are their own. We know about the Orlando Magic. They were able to go and add Desmond Bane to a team that's already made the playoffs a couple times, and they probably would have wound up better than the Pistons potentially if they didn't run into injury issues. So it's like it's time for these young guys to step up. The Cades, the Sars, the Durans, the Ivies, and whatever else even Stu can give you, and Sasser. We sleep on Sass and Ron Holland. These guys have to take the next step, but from the top, from those starters, you want to see them step into stardom so that we're not needing the world from our role players anymore.
No, and you mentioned something before. Probably my favorite advantage that I have Duncan Robinson over Malik Beasley. Duncan Robinson is a proven playoff performer. JB, do you have the excellent playoff
I knew you was
run?
going to cook something like this.
Absolutely.
I knew you were going to have this ready.
It's the excellent playoff runs graphic, if you've got that one. In 2019-20, Duncan Robinson averaged, and this is in the playoffs, 11.7 points per game on 39.7% from behind the arc on 7.4 attempts per game. That's a great percentage, high volume. In 2022-23, he averaged 9 points per game, a blisteringly absurd 44.2% from behind the arc on only 4.9 attempts, but that's incredibly efficient. And as we all know, the Miami Heat made the finals both seasons. And don't get me wrong, when you talk about the Miami Heat playoff runs, obviously you give more credit to Jimmy Butler, you give more credit to guys like Bam Adebayo, even Goran Dragic in 20, Caleb Martin in 2023, but I don't think you make the finals if you're the Heat either season without the contributions of one Duncan Robinson. The man has been a dead-eye marksman in 2 runs that his team had to the NBA Finals. And we know that with Malik Beasley, and I'll put my hand up as guilty, I thought he was going to exercise some playoff demons last year.
Yeah.
He did not. Duncan Robinson doesn't have playoff demons. I'm not saying that all of his playoff runs have been great. He's had a couple that were a little lackluster, but 2 excellent dead-eye marksman 3-point shooting in runs to the finals that his team had. You cannot, that's just something that I am ecstatic that we're adding to this team. Proven playoff elevation.
Yeah, more of the role player aspect, and this is why I'm really, really ecstatic about what this means for the core of this team. If this team is finally to the point where you can trust paying your young players, which they're going to have to make those decisions on Jalen Duren and Jaden Ivey. I'm going to continue to say I am so happy to see the deal that Jabari Smith got, because that to me says you can keep both of those guys. But this is telling me that it's on them to step up now. This is theirs to lead now. And if they can prove that, like we said with Brad Holmes and the Lions, and now even with Scott Harris and the Tigers, guess what? All you got to do is build really around your core with the pieces that fit to your cap and your financial outlook. That, to me, is what I believe Trajan is trying to get to. If he's looking at this core and believes, it's special enough that we can pay them and then find the right budget deals every single year like he's doing, then awesome. Remember, we talked about how some of the signings Brad Holmes makes, he front-loaded this one and the rest of it is open, so it's not coinciding with this. And then with Kirby Joseph, he made sure it was completely back in it and gave him a lot in the signing bonus up front. The Pistons are operating so savvy right now, man. And I do believe that it stems from the belief of those guys. And I think IT Hip said it as well. Let me read that. He made mention of these young players and effectively it being on these guys. He says the Pistons team won't be defined by the bench players who got replaced. They will go as far as Cade, Duren, Asar, Ron Holland, and Ivy do next season. And I think that is what these moves do. If you're taking this in a vacuum, because I've even had to reassess. If I'm taking this in a vacuum of just Beasley, it's like, no, one, we understand that they're playing underneath a different set of free agency rules. They had to go to probably the C list of free agency. And I think that they made out quite well in this. But realistically, if you have to rely on that again, it's going to be a long season. And then what happens in the playoffs? I think they're a more balanced team right now.
I mean, and you said it, and this goes back to what Trajan Langdon said. Improve on the margins. Rely on the young guys and their development. And I know that for some, and I'll say myself included, it wasn't necessarily the most ideal offseason going in. And it's not over, by the way, far from it. But I don't know. At this point, I feel like right now, as we're here on July 2nd at 8:21 Eastern Standard Time, I think I should kumbaya with even the most fervent Ivy Bros, because I really do like him as a player, and I really do think it could be incredibly important for him to develop and for him to be maybe that second best player. Dare I say second star. Don't know if I see that in him, but he did show me something last year. That's what's going to have to happen. That's what Trajan Langdon is accounting on. Not necessarily that specifically, but development from Duren, development from Cade. Because Cade, I think he has another level he can go to, even though he's already a budding superstar. Obviously, Ron Holland in year 2. That's what Trajan is counting on, and I hope that his faith in the young core is actualized and proven right. I definitely think it will be when it comes to a few players. Asar Thompson, forgot about him. How could you forget about him? He's probably my second favorite after Cade.
Yeah, and I part of me, and I know our Swisher break with the legend Rod Beard is going to have to do with this Pistons offseason, and if Trajan Langdon could, if they have to do a little bit more, because this doesn't remove the fact that I still believe that there is a huge weakness at the 4 position. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to see if you guys think that that's the biggest weakness on the team or not today, just to get an early start on Swish or Break. But let's take a quick one, and we'll get right back to talking about this, because you're right. Trajan Langdon did talk at the press conference about Ivy and Stewart both being ready for training camp.
Yeah.
You know, and based on the way things are looking right now, unless there's some trade we don't know about or something that comes from out of nowhere, Ivy is going to be somebody that they're looking to come back strong next year. And I do, based on the strides he was taking, if he's healthy next year, I do expect him to take some strides.
Yeah, no, I certainly, he certainly showed something before he went down, some improvement in certain assets that I think are important. But yes, JB, tell us about Mad Packs.
Mad Packs?
We can double up if you want.
Oh, no, I think we're good still. Chase here to talk to you about Mad Packs. Mad Packs is the hottest new cannabis brand, and they have partnered with us here at Woodward Sports. They already launched their brand new line. It came out in May, and it is available at select retailers right now. They got the high-low, getting you high for the low, delivering top-tier quality at unbeatable prices. And Kool-Aid's favorite, of course, that Boom Shakalaka. Boom Shakalaka is the live resin-infused tarantula. This one is the bomb. You got Blizzard Packs, THCA, Moon Rocks, a hit like a blizzard. Stay tuned with us here at Woodward Sports for all the latest updates and details.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
No one gives away more cash and prizes than Woodward Sports. You don't believe us? Here's our latest $10,000 winner.
You know, you guys posted, hey, if you guess all this stuff right, we'll give it's $10,000. I'm like, okay, well, why the hell not?
And the winning doesn't stop there. How about our Outkick Your Coverage winner?
I think you won.
This guy's got a hot girl.
Bigger prizes, bigger giveaways, cash, merch, tickets, and more. All from the biggest sports network in Detroit. No one does it bigger and better than Woodward Sports. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for your chances to share in the winning. From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
It's part beauty, part beast. It's for those who dare to be different, for those who want to stand out, and for those who are built for more. The all-new Ineos Grenadier combines strength and style for an unmatched driving experience. Sold exclusively at Feldman Ineos of Waterford.
The colors of summer are here, and Woodward Sports is all over the Motor City with the White Claw Tigers Tour. Come party with Woodward Sports, watch the Tigers, and sip on some White Claw all summer long. The best bars, big giveaways, live events, and a party that only Woodward Sports can throw. Ain't no party like a Woodward Sports party. Join us from 5 to 7 with the heavyweights at Second Best Bar in Detroit for the White Claw Tigers Tour, brought to you by White Claw, Easttown, and Ven Johnson.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Les Stanford Buick and GMC has great offers for everyone. Get a 2025 Envision Preferred AWD for only $259 per month, or try out the 2025 Sierra Double Cab Elevation for only $169 per month. Don't forget about the 2025 Hummer EV SUV for only $699 per month. Get to Les Stanford today and check out their massive inventory. Les Stanford Buick and GMC, lesstanford.com.
Oh my gosh, man. Welcome back. It's Wake Up Woodward Chat Family. Smash that like button. Darrell Slaughter, I see you in the chat. Ivy Bros make reasonable basketball fans look like haters.
I want Ivy to do well. I really do. You know what I think of the Ivy Bros are the ones that push the nasty Cade diminishing agendas. Those to me aren't real Pistons fans. Those are just like Ivy boners basically.
Yeah, and you know what? I see you here. Here's Johnny 2.0. Pistons can still pull off a three-way deal for John Collins with the question mark. You know what? The more and more I look at this squad, it's like, is it going to take somebody from your starting unit to be able to do that? And if so, is that worth it? And at that point in time, it's just like, no. That's where I see the Pistons saying next year might be the year that they actually go and make some type of move. Because if you do a move like that, it's going to be, Tobias going out, depending on the type of money that is. And at that point in time, is it worth it?
Oh, boo-hoo. No Tobias anymore?
No.
Oh, no.
Hey, shout out Uncle
Don't
Tobias.
say that.
He showed up in the playoffs. I like Uncle Tobias, man. He showed up. He got a little gritty in the playoffs, too. And it was nice to see him at least catch on there. Yeah. But I don't know if we're a better team if, you're trying to you're doing a sign and trade and you're sending out whatever the requisite amount of finances is to make sure the deal is matching. I think next year when this contract is off the books, I do believe then, though, it's probably more possible. But nothing's off the books, man. Randall Smalls, do you think Pistons are done? I'm going to tell you this. I kind of hope not. I'm hoping they still go and get some type of front court depth, off the bench. There are some guys that are still available in free agency that you can buy low risk, and exactly what they're going to give you, and they might be able to give you a little bit more. So it'd be interesting to see. But I know what up though, intern Ryan. You wanted to talk a little bit about Duncan Robinson and his defense and a little bit of Go Blue talk.
Yeah, absolutely Go Blue. But yeah, because I was seeing this all over social media yesterday about Duncan Robinson's defense, and he's not the best on defense. And I just want to, if anyone remembers John Beeline's quote-unquote defensive coordinator, Luke Yaklich, right? The last 2 years of Duncan Robinson at Michigan, Luke Yaklich Michigan was this defensive masterclass, right? And when there's a good defensive mindset, good defensive scheme in place, Duncan Robinson's going to be fine. And we can admit, Duran's a good defender. Asar Thompson's a good defender. There's good defenders on the floor. And it just feels like on social media people are like, Duncan Robinson's going to be going against Giannis 1v1 every single possession down. And he's going to catch and shoot a ton of threes. He's not going to be, as I've been advocating, Cade's Robin that I've wanted to see all offseason. Maybe it's Ivy. But Duncan Robinson's going to be a good 3-and-D guy. And when we have the good defensive players in place, Duncan Robinson is going to be just fine. And I will say that for my personal self, I will not go to any Piston games the rest of the year because I was at Karis LeVert's both season-ending injuries at Michigan. So I'm just gonna say,
No.
I'm not gonna step foot in an LCA unless it's a Red Wings game.
You're still cheering from afar, though.
Yes, but
All
I
right.
will not step foot inside LCA unless Karis LeVert is off the team.
I understand it completely, and I get it, Detroit. You know what it is? It's tough because we will accept all of the defensive guys who have no offense to put their name to. We will jump off a bridge for them, like it's religion.
Absolutely.
But for the offensive specialists, and we haven't had a lot of those. Think about it. We haven't had a lot of offensive specialists. We've had some. Shout out to guys like Richard Hamilton. But when you go and you get one, it's just like, do you appreciate that this guy can affect the game offensively, probably in some ways that the other guys can do things defensively. It's amazing. Like, we remember, do not forget what it was like when this shirt was commissioned. Cade was literally getting double and triple team on every single drive, and he was throwing it out for bricks. That was it. It was like Cade drives for bricks, and it was like that's not the what we really want our star part of. When we talked about going out there and making sure you get shooters around him, it wasn't even about having a threat of shooting. It was about making sure that those potential assists that continue to have Cade at the top of the NBA as the leader in potential assists per game. It's about cashing in now, even more so. I'm glad they found something with Malik Beasley, but I'm looking forward to what this team is doing right now by putting just a few more shooters out there. Just a few more shooters out there.
A few more. But, just to piggyback off of Ryan's point a little bit, before we talk a little Red Wings before Rod Beard, because we have to talk about that as well. I mean, the Heat, they made 2 finals runs with Duncan Robinson playing a huge role. And I'm not going to, and I've never tried to say that Duncan Robinson is like this great defender. I thought Ryan even calling him 3-and-D was a little bit aggressive, but if you put him on a good team with a good system with a lot of good defensive players, kind of sounds like the Miami Heat, well coached as well, and I think the Pistons are building that. Duncan Robinson can be utilized exactly the way that he should, and I don't think his defense will really be, on a macro scale, harmful. He might give up a few freebies once in a while, but that's not a big deal. I'm not that worried about that.
No, that's not at all. I'm just looking forward to the fact that the Detroit Pistons found a way to, at least if you can't keep the consistency with your vets, because 3 of your vets are gone now. Malik Beasley, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Dennis Schroeder, who played some important roles for you, especially down the stretch and into the playoffs. Those guys are gone now. So now your continuity and your consistency, it's coming from those young players. And you're hoping that foundation is enough that you can plug and play players like Karis LeVert, like Duncan Robinson, and that's where you realize that you have a really, really healthy organization. You're not scrambling every offseason to figure out who's going to be the star of this, who's going to be the star of that. The Pistons really, in their first approach as well as in their pivot, neither of them look like panic moves. Both of them look like they believe that they trust in what they see and that they trust in what they're doing, and they just need to make some little minor tweaks and nip and tucks here and there. And to me, I remember how we felt about Brad Holmes. I remember how we felt about Scott Harris even. We thought, is he doing enough? He needs to do more. And even at the trade deadline, we said, even though you said, it's not the F that everyone's talking about, you did wish that there was a little bit more. But then these things panned out. And you look at the Pistons this year and how it panned out, even with Uncle Tobias in the lineup. And it's like, you know what? Even with Ron Holland as the draft pick, right? These are the things that I do. When I look at this, I have to believe, all right, Trajan, you did this last year with some unheralded, underrated signings. Is this Trajan Langdon 2.0?
We'll see. I see Maize and Blue 86, Duncan Robinson. Come on, that's
what
a little
kind
bit...
of Maize and Blue fan are you?
Right.
Come on.
That's a little bit unfair, but well, you know what else is?
Go Blue.
You could say unfair. The Red Wings free agency, but we'll discuss that a little bit more just on the other side of the break. But I have to tell you about our new sponsor, BlackRock. Woodward, and we got BlackRock and merch. Woodward Sports is turning up the heat with our new sizzling partner, BlackRock Bar and Grill, where you get steak on a stone served on a 755-degree volcanic rock. It's more than a meal, it's an experience. Enjoy lunch starting at $8.99. Wow, that's a great deal. Rocking hours from 3 to 6 p.m. in daily specials. Come hungry and rock your steak only at Black Rock Bar and Grill. Stay tuned, a summer giveaway is coming that actually rocks. Visit blackrock.com.
And you can also wear some Woodward Sports merch when you're dining over at Black Rock. All you got to do is head over to woodwardsports.com and click on that shop tab. We got new designs for you every single week, but I got to tell you about the ones we got up on screen right now. You can't forget about the Woodward Tigers gear you should be rocking down at Comerica Park, and the LFG Red Wings t-shirts and hoodies still available for you right now today. All you got to do is head over to woodwardsports.com, click on that shop tab.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasto salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
Detroit sports fan, Woodward Sports is here to give you all the Detroit sports you can handle. Weekdays, make sure you're locked in on Wake Up Woodward from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Followed by Big D Energy with Neil Rule and Darren McCarty from 11 a.m. to 1. Up next, you can't miss Ermanni and Edwards with Maz from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And finish the day out with the bad boys of Detroit sports media, the Woodward Heavyweights, from 5 to 7 p.m. Okay, wait, that isn't enough for you, you sports freak? Check out Woodward Wings, Woodward Ringside, and the Lions Weekly Update every Sunday with Broder, Terry Foster, and Sean Belegian. Subscribe on YouTube for all our great content, and make sure you're following on all social media, X, IG, Facebook, and TikTok. You want sports? We got you covered. Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Why do we fight? We fight to protect the innocent, to hold the powerful accountable, to bring the oppressors to justice. Why do we fight? We fight to secure and preserve our civil liberties, to get each and every one of our clients the justice they deserve, and to make the lives of real people just like you whole again. ThenFights.com.
Jars Cannabis, Woodward sports fans. Whether you're hitting the game or simply just chilling, Jars has you covered. Jars is home to Michigan's largest lineup of recreational cannabis products. There's 27 locations across the state of Michigan. They're repping Michigan in a big way. You can find 9 of those locations right here in the Metro Detroit area. And in Grand Rapids, Madison Heights, Milan, get ready. New stores are coming your way soon. You can go to www.jarscannabis.com to see where you can get your favorite products today.
Winning teams, playoff teams, it's so nice. And Red Wings, you got to get there. We need all 4 teams. I need the LCA bros to be jumping. I need LCA to be jumping. Hey, look, they put on fantastic concerts. The Pistons made the playoffs there. We need that playoff win there. Red Wings, let's make this happen and have Woodward absolutely jumping, man. But you know what? Off-season is where that starts. Talk to me about it, Final Sam.
Well, there's not a whole lot to talk about. And if you watched Woodward Wings'
You don't sound too happy.
free agent disaster class episode, I'll stand by that. That's basically what it's been up to this point. And let me just say this. I still think there are some intriguing options that the Red Wings could add for their top 6 forwards. Like Brian Rust is still available for a trade, or maybe available for a trade. I know Pittsburgh is trying to get rid of him or find a good deal. I'm higher on Nikolai Ehlers than Justin. I don't think that he's a perfect player, but he would fix a lot of the 5-on-5 scoring. But my biggest issue so far is that they've done nothing to help the D-core whatsoever. Nothing. And at that point, I just wonder, why the F did you bring in John Gibson? Because when did John Gibson struggle the most? When Anaheim's defense was so bad. I'm just worried at this point that it's going to look kind of like it did last year, where the PK is bad, the defense as a whole isn't so great, the goaltending looks mid to bad at times, whether it's their fault or not. This has not been enough that the Red Wings have added, and as of right now, I feel very little hope that they will be a playoff team. How are you feeling, Justin, after getting to sleep on it for a night?
I mean, I slept on it all right, and I slept on it like shit.
I mean, holy crap. Like, I had to deal with all these Iserbots in my Twitter mentions all night who were like, oh, Nate Danielson. Oh, my God. Nate Danielson in the top 6. It's going to be so good. I'm exhausted from dealing with these Iserbots, okay? It's okay to be critical. It's okay to have an opinion. It's okay to expect more. You don't just have to sit there and just be fed shit and eat it. Like, seriously. And, yeah, James Van Riemsdyk in a vacuum as a third liner at $1 million AAV is a good deal, okay? But that doesn't do anything to get you into the playoffs. And we're talking about getting into the playoffs, competing, becoming a perennial playoff team every year, competing to win championships. And this team is still so far away. And I just pointed out the simple fact last night on Twitter. All right, who's playing? Who's the other 2 forwards in the top 6? Because I can tell you what, if you're trotting out James Van Riemsdyk, Patrick Kane, Jonathan Berger, or Soderblom as your other 2 wingers on the top 6, you're effed. Like, let's just call it how it is. No team in the Eastern Conference has as bad of a top 6 as that. They all have legit top 6s. And then you go to the defense, and I got people telling me that Edmondson and Sider are going to be able to play together this year. Why? They're not good enough. The decor is not good enough. You're going to have to split them again. You're going to have to play Sherratt in your first line again. Whoop-de-doo, Ben Sherratt in the first line. Like, what are we talking about? Like, seriously, the Montreal Canadiens had Noah Dobson, and everyone's like, oh, I'm glad we didn't do that. That's such an overpay. Well, now they have a legit top four defensive unit, like, in terms of their top 4. Carolina trades for Keandre Miller. Oh, I wasn't willing to overpay like that. $7.5 million. It's going to look like nothing in 2 years when the cap goes up. Like, it is utterly ridiculous how everyone tries to find any way to bend it over for Yzerman. And it's ridiculous. No. Like, seriously, I'm so done. Like, every single person on Red Wings Twitter is out there, oh, Yzerman's doing so good. Yzerman. Who cares? He's adding 3rd and 4th liners to a team that needs 1st liners.
No,
I don't know.
No, and I'm glad that you mentioned that because I have a list that doesn't even include Noah Dobson, which is malfeasance on my part. JB, do you have the defensemen no longer available?
Yep.
Because they're all gone.
Oh
Aaron Ekblad re-signed to Florida. Provorov re-signed to Columbus. Gavrikov went to New York. By the way, Columbus and the Rangers are going to be better, are better than the Red Wings right now, which we don't like. Cody Ceci going to the Kings. Ryan Lindgren going to Seattle Kraken. And, of course, Keandre Miller getting traded to the Carolina Hurricanes. And last but not least, not pictured on this list is Noah Dobson going to the MF'n Habs, who had taken a step above the Red Wings in the rebuild and just got better. And that's really what makes me the most upset so far about this free agency. It's what they haven't added to the decor. I think you're putting too much on Mo Seider again. You're putting too much on Simon Edvinsson again. You're surrounding them with probably Ben Sherratt on your first line. You're surrounding them, well, not really surrounding them specifically, but you're looking at right now a potential of Justin Holl playing minutes for the Red Wings. You're looking at a potential of...
And how dare you say that ASP is going to get minutes his rookie year? How dare you? One of the most hyped prospects in the last 3 years for the Detroit Red Wings, and how dare you think that he could make the jump to the NHL? How dare you? Because that's what I hear. Because, like, for real, if they want to make the playoffs, ASP is going to have to win the damn Calder. Seriously.
No,
this decor is so bad that he is going to have to win the Calder for them to make the playoffs. And that is an awful position to put your number 1 prospect in, where he has to come in and be the savior. He has to come in and literally be Lane Hudson. But, let's talk about the teams that are around us in the standings real quick.
Go ahead.
So I think there's we can cut it off at Florida at the 4 seed. We're not even going to be in that stratosphere. So let's go down the list. Ottawa, they got better. Continue to get better. New Jersey, they're getting Jack Hughes back. Both of them had 91 points last year and finished 5 points in front of the Wings. Probably going to do it again. Montreal added Noah Dobson and added depth in their forward group as well. Columbus, they re-signed Provorov, and they brought in they brought legitimate depth to fill out their bottom 6 forward group and defensive group. So they actually have depth. The New York Rangers, they signed Garkiev. They will probably be better than they were last year. Oh, and guess what? They only finished 1 point behind you. The New York Islanders completely revamped their team. Matt Barzal would arguably be the best player on the Detroit Red Wings, so you got to worry about them. You don't have to worry about Pittsburgh, Buffalo, and then Philly and Boston. The bottom two in the whole league will be better next year. You are literally looking at a potential being the bottom 5 team in the East next year.
And I can't argue against anything. I'm honestly worried, and I don't think this is fear-mongering, by the way, that the PK is historically bad again.
What did you do? What did you do to improve the PK? Seriously.
Nothing.
You did nothing.
Zero.
Like, you had literally one of the worst PKs in NHL history, and you're not going to add. You're going to sit there and let them be awful again for a third year in a row.
Yeah, and for the record, obviously it's bad when it comes to the decor, and that's why I'm the most mad, because you can argue, and I would even probably argue positively that if you told me before the offseason you were able to package Peter Mrazek in a trade with some non-first round picks and get John Gibson for 2 years, I would have been like, okay, you fixed your goaltending adequately, in my opinion. If you even tell me right now that re-signing Kane, getting Van Riemsdyk, and then one more guy like a Brian Rust, I would have been like, okay, that's fine enough in terms of upgrading your offense. But that's where it stops for me. Who do we want, Justin? Dmitry Orlov? 90-year-old Brett Burns? That's honestly what we're looking at right now.
But no, don't worry. Be patient, guys. Be patient. Wait for that, 1 year, $1.8 million signing of Jonathan Bergeron, because that's going to fix all our issues. Seriously. The way that people talk about Johnny Burgers, man, guy who was minus 13 last year and put up 26 points in 75 games. That's the savior here, guys. He's going to play on the first line. And I'm being told, oh, you can't project the roster. You can't predict the roster. It's only been 7.5 hours of free agency. Oh, well, show me the free agents that really move the needle. Show me the trades that actually would make this team able to compete in the first round of a playoff series. Show me them, because I don't see them. Right now, the only one on the board is Jason Robertson, and they are probably going to re-sign him in Dallas. Yeah. So I don't know what you want from me, guys. You want me to come up here and just, be like everyone on Twitter and bend it over backwards for Steve Yzerman? I'll come do that. But seriously, I'm not doing that anymore. This is BS, and it's right to be critical at this point. I'm so done with everyone on Twitter just defending Steve Yzerman out the wazoo, because there is a point where patience isn't enough. I understand he's building it right. I understand he's the loaded prospect pool. But here's a dirty little secret, guys. Other teams have really good prospect pools as well. The Islanders have a really good prospect pool. The Bruins have a decent prospect pool. Columbus has a good prospect pool. Montreal has a good prospect pool. We are not the only team with good prospects. Other teams have good prospects and good NHL talent, and we will continue to be passed by if we don't do anything.
No, and before I put it over to Chase, because I know he wants to speak on this as well, if you want, and I'm not even going to say like a glimmer of hope, if you're the Red Wings, if you're Steve Yzerman, if you're a Red Wings fan, you better hope that Steve Yzerman pulls something off for Bowen Byram.
No, please no.
But here's the thing, it's not a good position to be Bowen Byram or bust. And that honestly feels like that's what the Red Wings are right now, unfortunately. But Chase.
Before Chase goes,
yes.
I do still believe in the Yzer plan, but I am starting to become extremely critical of it.
Fair enough. Chase.
Before Chase accuses me of not believing in Yzerman.
How you feeling about the Red Wings offseason?
I think we all knew that there wasn't going to be some magical Band-Aid that fixed everything for this team. I think some of the moves they made, particularly adding John Gibson, is a big upgrade, and I think that's something that we shouldn't just completely gloss over. I think like I said, I want a defensive defenseman. We talked about this yesterday or the day before. That's something we need to take care of, and like you guys talked about, we need to address the PK. That's I think the biggest need out after we've addressed the goaltender situation. So I like Van Riemsdyk. Obviously, he's longer in the tooth and stuff, but I think he's a little bit grittier than what we've had, at least last year. I think he's
he'll be a good third liner. I said,
I think he's gonna be a good bottom six forward for this team. I'm not I'm not creaming for him, but I think he's a better player than what we had last year as far as a depth piece.
He's gonna help guys like Soderblom too and stuff like that. I'm not poo-pooing the value of James Van Riemsdyk.
No, has this been like a fantastic offseason where it's like we got all of the biggest names? No, but that was never going to happen. Honestly, don't want it to happen this year. I love the cap space and the flexibility we have because all of the really big names and the real needle movers are in next year's free agent class, and that's where I'd really love Steve Yzerman to get overly aggressive and really put the Red Wings nuts on the table.
I agree with you. I do. I can't lie. Like from the beginning of free agency, I always believed that it was never going to be full fireworks where he would completely turn around this roster in this offseason. I always said that I think this is the offseason you're building towards next offseason, getting everything in place where you can add those 2 impact guys to really compete for a playoff series. But Chase, like I said, you're going to be another year behind all these teams, and you're going to have to go into 2026 trying to acquire 2 top 6 forwards and probably an impact D. That is a lot to ask for, and when you're looking at how these free agency classes are going. So I see the vision of going after the 26 class, especially with Florida and everyone re-signing and making it. It's going to be extremely difficult to win in the East. Like with how Florida's built, with how the Maple Leafs are retooling, the East is not going to be down ever.
The Atlantic has represented the Eastern Conference in the Stanley Cup every season since Washington won the Cup in 2017. That's not just how dominant the East has been, but how dominant the Atlantic Division that the Red Wings play in has been.
It's sobering.
Yeah, it is sobering, and we're going from the team. The Red Wings were the team with the young pieces that seemed like they were close, and then just over the last couple of years, the infrastructure just has not been built in the way that we've seen the Tigers been built, and even the Pistons been built around their young core. So that's where it gets really disappointing. I understand it's different rebuilds and they take different amount of times, but holy crap,
there is some overlap. There is some overlap. There are things to look at and see, and that's where sometimes I rely heavily on what you guys know of the intricacies and the nuances of the hockey rebuilds, but I do know this. Hockey fans are some of the most Detroit Red Wings fans are some of the most diehard fans I have ever seen in any sport, period. And there were eras even when the team wasn't that good, but you knew you could find that winged will all over the freaking world, and it had even gotten into crossover and even hip-hop culture, man. And it's to know that those fans continued for years. I remember watching it. It didn't matter, man, where they were. Red Wings fans took over everybody's stadium. Everybody's. When they went out to play Phoenix, that was a Red Wings game. And so, I don't think that Justin is too far off with his passion, because how much longer do the fans continue to support, even understandingly, but they're not able to see a winner? 6 years, 7 years, that's a long time. And people aren't necessarily asking for a cup winner right now, but a team that they can look at and say, okay, the next step has been reached. And that to me is where I do get a little bit of Justin's passion starting to bubble up with the criticism. As you're getting deeper and deeper into these years, I get it.
Yep, to me, it's hard to watch them not address the D-core really at all. I think that's what's the most frustrating. I've said it before. I think you address the goalie properly.
Out in the first sign is going to make me crash the fuck out. Seriously.
I agree.
What are we doing here anymore?
I know. I think there's...
And honestly, we're talking about, all these... Honestly, there's been a lot of pretty good depth contracts signed. And, I probably at this point would have been fine if they would have signed a couple of those depth guys. I know you probably weren't going to get Mazepan because he probably wanted to play for a cup winner, but... 3 years, $3 million for a guy who put up, 54 points and played in all 82 games with a plus rating and good defensively, plays the PK. That's the type of guy I feel like the Red Wings are missing right now. So I don't know. I feel like there was some guys that would have helped this team make an impact and make this team better at some low term with some low numbers. But at the same time,
good players don't go play for bad teams for low term.
True, but I think at some point you could overpay at least a little bit. They gave Mazepan.
That's not low. That's not buying low then.
What?
But that's not paying them low like what you were just talking about.
Yeah, but when they're these type of contracts where it's 3 years, $3 million. That's an easy contract to get out of, and it's low term, and especially with how the salary cap's going up. Salary cap's going to go up $12 million.
I feel like Red Wings fans are just getting pissed off because they don't have a big name like Mitch Marner to flick their bean about.
Chase, we're upset because we're looking at I see this potentially being a
So
sub
are you okay with Nate
season.
Danielson playing on your top 6 next year?
I mean, is he guaranteed to see top 6 minutes next year? I mean, is he guaranteed to be on the roster for the full season next year?
The way that this roster is going, it seems like it. And the way that Eisman's been talking about him, it seems like it. I mean, who else is going to play in the top 6? What do you want? James Van Riemsdyk, Soderblom, Bergeron? Like, who's your answer? Kane's already playing in your top 6, which is already a liability. So, like, I mean, like, who are you putting there? Seriously. Like,
I mean, I'm not the coach. It's up to McClellan to make these lines. And I mean, we'll see what happens when the season turns around and what they end up putting out there and who's on this roster. I'm not going to poo-poo this kid who's not on the team yet. Well, I mean, people might have been talking the same shit about Marco Kasper next year. Now you guys are licking this kid's nuts.
And I agree. I was completely missed on Kasper. I didn't think that he was going to come in and have the impact that he did. I think he was helped by the fact that he had really good line mates. And he really flourished on that first line when Raymond and Larkin were on his line, and then when he went to Cat and Kane.
So, but that's a rookie coming up and playing top 6 minutes and being impactful. Now you're saying, oh, Nate Danson can't come in and do the same thing possibly?
Yeah, I'm not in the business of betting on rookie parlays. Seriously, we're going to be
this
betting
isn't
on a huge rookie parlay next year of Nate Danielson hitting, Lombardi hitting.
This rookie
ASP
parlay you're talking
hitting,
about isn't about like trying to win a cup. This is about building for the future and like getting these young guys into the NHL to like
I think
build
that's
this
where
team.
you're missing my point, Chase. Is like I understand that we have to lean on the youth. I'm not saying to trade all these prospects. Like the Keandre Miller went for nothing. Couple first-round picks, mid-level
He
prospect.
also signed for $60
I would have been
million.
100% willing to make that move and re-sign him to $7.5 million. Straight up, I would have been willing to sign multiple guys. And that's where my biggest gripe with Eiserbots is the fact that you don't think that you can add now and it can also be a move that helps you in the future. You can do both at the same time. You can make a move that helps you now and also helps you in 5 years. That's what I want to do. I don't want to make a move that only helps now. I understand this team's cup window isn't even close to right now. They're still 2 years away from a cup, straight up. And where I want them to do is to start making moves to help them get to that point. And where, yes, these prospects are great, but there's no guarantee that every single one of these prospects hit. If we want to give up a B-level prospect, we should be okay with it if it brings us a guy like Keandre Miller. And that's where people are not. And that's my issue. Because you can make a move now that can help you in the future and help you now. And that's what I want.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely can, but you're also not going to help yourself in the future when you make the move now that gives away the pieces that are supposed to build for your future.
There's no one who we would have given up for Keandre Miller that would have hindered our Stanley Cup window. Straight up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not over here griping about the Keandre Miller thing. I'm just saying, like, the fact that we don't have some big name to talk about, I think is people getting.
And we need to build for the prospects. I understand we should, but we also should add some talent that can help us now. There's a middle line between the two, and that's where the people of the Red Wings fan base don't understand. They're either at this extreme where they blow Stevie, or they're at this extreme where they want Steve fired. There's no in between, and that's where I sit. I sit right in the between. I believe in Steve Yzerman, but I am critical.
I feel like in this past week there's been a swing of like, this was great getting John Gibson and getting rid of Tarasenko, to now all of a sudden like this offseason's doomed. Like I'm
not saying the offseason's doomed, but I'm saying this team isn't good enough to make the playoffs right now.
I mean,
that was a good start, Chase. That's what it was. It was a good start, and that's how I see it. And I don't think
they've done anything that's like hinder or set them back from the start that they had.
I think not getting a defenseman is.
I mean, free agency's not over.
I know. I understand.
Like, there are still moves that can be made.
Yeah, just a lot of them are gone, but maybe via trade. We shall see. But let's not keep Rod Beard waiting any longer. Is he on?
Yeah. And I know one of the main things where I continue just more as a casual fan to just put things into the context of when is it happening? When is the build happening? Because there was a lot of people who didn't want in Pistons world to hear anything about this squad starting another rebuild after Troy Weaver. And that to me is where I kind of put a little bit more of the context. Like, I agree with what Chase is saying too, but in year 6, is the pressure, when does the pressure turn on? When is the seat ever warm? When is the expectation supposed to be that this team is supposed to make the playoffs? And that's where I don't
even need them to make the playoffs. I just need them to start building towards the cup.
So you start talking about getting to a decade of you actually trying. That's where it just gets to. I can understand how some people could be less, invested in the process in that current time. I can definitely see that. But
hey, Got Rod Beard on.
Let's get on because, sheesh, all of these teams, man, are doing they're doing something in free agency. We're gonna see if it's enough, but I think with our Swisher Brick questions, we'll definitely see how the legend feels about it today.
Absolutely. And we've got Massage Chair House.
Oh, yeah, Massage Chair and Caesars.
All right.
Chase?
Yeah, the Massage Chair House. Get relaxed, get recovered. Check out the Massage Chair House in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. It's the largest massage chair showroom in the Midwest. They have top brands of massage chairs like the Osaki, like the Infinity, the Pharaoh Q that used to be in the studio here. We got the Laraco model now. Experience luxury comfort with Dr. Eric Duncan. He's the wellness doctor, creator of the top YouTube massage chair review channel. Go ahead and book your visit at www.massagechairhouse.com. Scan the QR code above my head, or you can, like I said, just go online. Your ticket to ultimate recovery or relaxation.
Did you call it the Baracco chair? That's what it is?
Laraco.
The Baracco chair. Barack Obama chair.
Oh, because he's got the presidential seal on there?
Yeah. But shout out to Caesar Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of us here at Woodward Sports. Scan that QR code on screen. Use code word Woodward1000. You can place up to a $1,000 bet, but all you have to do is place a minimum of a $20 bet. If it doesn't hit, Caesars will throw it right back into your account with no questions asked. It's Caesar Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of us here at Woodward Sports. Make some money tonight.
Hey, Tony, what's up, bro?
Same circus, different clowns.
Yeah, for sure. You want the usual, the big zip?
You know me too well.
I threw a little something extra in there for your ma.
Oh,
Hope
man.
she's doing all right.
Ay, guy, sei un santo. You're a saint.
All right, buddy, we'll see you next time, okay?
Grazie.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Tired of losing out on the car of your dreams? Bad credit? No credit? At the Feldman Chevrolet Freedom Sale, we say yes. Over 5,000 new Chevys to choose from, all priced to move with our best deals of the year. Get a 2025 Silverado for just $149 a month, or this 2026 Equinox for only $209 a month. When other dealers say no, Feldman Chevrolet says yes. Don't miss the Freedom Sale, going on now at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Buddy's Pizza has been serving the original Detroit-style pizza since 1946, and 79 years later, they have 22 locations in the great state of pure Michigan. Fans can still visit where it all began on the corner of 6 Mile and Conant and sign up for Buddy Rewards. To earn points on every purchase and receive exclusive promotions. Download the Buddy's Pizza mobile app and start earning today. Add some Detroit style to your next meal. Save 10% off your entire order using promo code 10MIL. That is the number 10MEAL, Buddy'sPizza.com. Hey, and we are back, and there's a lot of Detroit sports to talk about, but obviously the Pistons have moved themselves into a very, very important position as it relates to the offseason, and who better to talk about it with us, as well as all Detroit sports, than the legend Rod Beard, formerly of Detroit News, currently the senior sports editor at the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Welcome to the legend, and I love the shirt there. The Detroit in me is telling me that there's a little bit of Detroit that's on your shirt there, Mr. Rod Beard.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go. Oh!
Hey!
Let's go with the Pistons flavor, man. I love it.
Opening night at LCA 2017.
Shout out.
Wow. What, 2017, was that year one?
Year one, opening night.
Wow, that's a shirt. That's pretty awesome, man. And you know what? To see them make the playoffs this year, I think I wore the playoff shirt yesterday, the back to work one. This is ever so fitting that you have this on today, and we got a lot to talk about with these Pistons. I didn't know if there were any other related questions before that from other teams, because I did have one Tigers one for you. The Tigers are doing things, man, and All-Star weekend is approaching. I'm seeing some of these players that are making some great cases. You know, how many All-Stars are you projecting for the Detroit Tigers? It's got to be more than 2.
It's got to be more than 2. I think Scooble's going to start. I think you'll see Glaber start. You're going to see Riley Green start. Never did I ever think that I would ever see, like, if I told you 5 or 6 years ago that Javi Baez would have more All-Star votes than Mike Trout, what would you would have called me a crazy person. Crazy. He has more All-Star votes than Mike Trout. That is insane. That is absolutely. So what is that, 4? I think you get a 5th one in there somewhere too. I think you get at least 5. At least 5.
No, 5.
You will have two starting outfielders. That's silly talk. That's just silly talk.
I'm not gonna lie, Rod. And I was gonna bring this up on another day. I don't think Javi should start the All-Star game, but that's just my.
The fans have spoken. He has more All-Star votes than Mike Trout.
Mike Trout
is in the outfield.
I know. And obviously, like, Mike Trout's been hurt, but like 5 or 6 years ago, he was still probably the best baseball player on the planet. I get what you're saying, but let me ask you really quick about the Detroit Red Wings and their offseason. How do you feel about it? Just these first few days in, knowing that they've been relatively passive and I don't think have gotten much better, at least in my opinion. What say you, Rod Beard?
Underwhelming. Just do something. Do something that makes me feel like you're doing something, even if you're doing nothing. It's just the people's faith in Steve Yzerman has to come to some kind of head at some point to say, look, bro, not making the playoffs is one thing, but not actively going out and trying to do something, even if it's the wrong something. Go do something to make us believe that you're trying to do something. Troy Weaver always made you believe he was doing something. You might have hated it. It didn't work out in some cases. But you felt like, okay, there's a plan here. There's something going on. It takes a leap of faith to say he's just saving it all for next year. Sometimes you have to trade up and you have to give me a better player that I can have something better to trade for next year. Take a gamble, take a risk. And if it works, you have something better and you're better positioned for next year. But if you do nothing and you have these assets for next year, who's to say that that's going to be enough? And if you're in playoff position, you're working toward something. They're not a playoff team right now. And the more that this goes on, the hotter the seat's going to get under him.
Yeah, no, it could be, I don't want to say it could get ugly, but I mean, there's still some off season left, but so far I agree with you. It's quite underwhelming.
It is ugly. I would argue it is ugly right now.
I mean,
the noise is gone.
Yeah.
You see a few more people, like I said, in the kind of Red Wings world, especially across social, the comments that we see underneath posts and such, there are more and more people who are getting a little bit antsy. And I'm seeing people who, similar to Justin, are showing that passion. They're saying they want to see a little bit more, but they're still saying, you know what, they can still see a little bit of a glimmer of hope and light in the Yzer plan. And that's where I do believe it is very, very critical for them to make the playoffs this season. But even Justin said he could still see a path where they just miss out because it's going to be tough this year. But the plan is still on the right path. Do you feel that way as well, Rod? Or do you think this is a playoffs or bust type season?
No, I think people, if this was anybody else, people would have pitchforks and torches at the gates, ready to riot. Because it's Steve Yzerman, you're giving him that last little bit of grace to say, well, if it was anybody else, but it's you, Steve, so we believe in you because we know you and we've seen what you've done in the past. You haven't been able to work that magic here. That's the last bit of equity that he has, is that it's Steve Yzerman. If he was Joe Schmo, people would not be giving him this level of the benefit of the doubt. I think he's at the end of that string of where people care about this thing, and apathy for the Red Wings is unheard of. You haven't gotten to the point, we haven't seen that probably in our last 30 years, where people have been apathetic about the Red Wings, and we're getting close to that point. You can only miss the playoffs for so long for hockey fans before they just say, you know what, I'm moving on to something else.
Apathy is a good word, and it's a good word for what the Red Wings could be in terms of the fan base, and I see it as well. I definitely see it brewing as well. But a team that nobody's apathetic about right now, I want to go back to the Tigers, because obviously they're the best team in the American League record-wise. I think they're a half a game behind the Dodgers for the best record in baseball. So that brings up World Series aspirations. And that being said, I want to talk really quickly about just what you think right now about the potential for trade deadline acquisitions. If you were Scott Harris, should the number one priority be a relief pitcher, a starter, or a hitter? Which one do you think is the top priority right now?
I would say starter. Go get me another starter that when you get into a 5-game series, you can roll out a 3 that nobody else can mess with. And that hitting is going to be up and down throughout the year, but when you get in the postseason, when you're talking about World Series, that last starter that nails things down, I think that's more key. And I would say the next thing after that is a hitter. You just want to go get another power guy if you can. And then the relief pitching, you can get that in free agency. I'm not as worried. That'll be plentiful, not free agency, and at the trade deadline. That's more plentiful that you can go out and get. But a starter, a hitter, and then a reliever in that order would be my priorities.
Hey, you know what, man, Rod, you are cooking today. We got another segment. You already know the Detroit Pistons. I said this. They had to pivot and then pivot again. We got to talk about if Trajan Langdon's footwork is any good this offseason. So let's say what up to some friends. I'm going to double up here, JB Smooth, just to accommodate.
Yeah.
So attention sports fans, that's all you beautiful people, more so probably Rod than all of us. Don't miss out on expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Join Dr. Pierce every Tuesday during Bake the Energy, every Thursday on Ermanni Edwards, where he's offering you top-notch injury advice. Trust the guy that DMAC does, because Dr. Jeff Pierce is here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsAndSpine.com or call 248-426-9944. And if you've got a crisis, let Vin point the way. Step 1, verify with details and photos. Step 2, engage your attorney. Step 3, notify your insurance provider. Get justice with Vin. Vin Johnson Law.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Head to WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasto salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
Calling all Tigers fans, join Spencer and Easy for our final stop on the tour this on Friday, July 11th at Second Best Bar in Detroit. Be part of the fun. See our reactions live on Woodward Sports Network to one of the hottest teams in baseball. It's the White Claw Tigers Tour, brought to you by White Claw and Vin Johnson Law. We are back for another segment with the legend Rod Beard. Rod Beard is the senior sports editor at the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. And you know what? We got to talk NBA free agency. And that also includes our Detroit Pistons, but another squad that we thought, okay, hey, look, they're on the all dysfunction list right now. What are they going to do to move themselves out of it? Rod actually covers that team, and they're having a pretty intriguing offseason. I think they helped themselves, but let's get the legend back in here because we got to break this down with Rod's thoughts. I'm going to brief everybody. We lost all of our vets except for Uncle Tobias. So all of the ones that we thought, bring them back, maintain your consistency for weeks. Which one is better and which one should this and what to? And well, look, the Schroeder and Monk, the sign and trade, it failed. So that's that deal. Schroeder just walks for nothing. THJ to the Denver Nuggets on a 1-year deal, another vet that walks for nothing. And we already know what's going on with Malik Beasley. The deal has been placed on pause. They did pivot, like we said, they had to pivot a couple times. Once after the Beasley news, a second time after the Kings decided that they could go create the space to be able to sign Dennis Schroeder straight up, and it put the Pistons in a position where, you know what, this is your free agency now. Rod, take away Rod's thoughts, man.
Man, NBA free agency is its own soap opera. It's unlike anything else where the league literally changes within a couple of days, within a week, between the draft and free agency. It is just the most fun covering the NBA beat that your team can go from terrible to good to, I mean, maybe they're just mediocre, but they're still dramatic and they have something going on in free. I love this week. I've always loved it. It's late nights and you got to just keep an eye on what's going on. But it is very much one of the most fun weeks in sports. I mean, outside of the season itself, if your team is going to the finals or something like that. But it is absolutely hilarious to see some of the things that go on. And while we're there, like, how do you waive Dame? How does that work?
Wow. Yeah, free agency's been wild.
So all of this that I'm downplaying Miles Turner and the Legos in Milwaukee and the Bucks go do that.
Yeah.
Like I'm saying no, he can't play on my team. You throw Dame to the curb for Miles Turner? Hey, do you, bro? Do you, bro? Giannis is somewhere in Europe like, what? Yeah, for who?
That
Y'all did what for
came
who?
out so quick, bro. It was like, yo, they waived him. And it wasn't but like a minute. And it is like, breaking news. Giannis is unhappy with this. You think? Like, wow. I wonder what this does for their future.
But Chelsea, who did y'all just waive him for? Chelsea Clinton? What are we doing?
When I saw that deal,
Man.
you were the first person that I thought of, bro. As soon as I saw Miles turn to the Bucks, I was like, wait. I looked so many times and I was like, why did they put him in a Bucks jersey on here? I had no idea why. I was like, hey, he signed with the Pacers. This is what everybody knows. This is the worst kept secret. And then I kept looking like, Shams really put the Bucks. Like, he rubbing my eyes. I know I'm becoming an OG. You know, is it glasses time? I'm like, man, this is really a Bucks deal. That shocked me, man. This NBA free agency and trade deadline stuff is crazy.
How many times have you done that in the past week?
Yeah.
In the past week, we've done that 4 or 5 times. The Porzingis thing, I'm just sitting there like, wait. Because, okay.
Where did that come
The
from?
Pistons have been in a place where when you see bigger names in free agency and trades and everything else, or you get your Shams alerts or your Woj alerts from before, you see the name, but it's like, that's not my team. It's not coming to the Pistons. They're not getting this guy. And then Troy Weaver comes along and you see 7 trades in the same day and you're like, oh, well, I got to pay attention now. For the Hawks, I was like, hey, there ain't nothing happening. Kristaps is going where? He's going to, I don't know, Sacramento, or he's going to the Clippers or something like. And it said the Hawks. I'm like, wait a minute, hold up.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing? That's what we're doing? So even KD going to Houston is very much, yeah, free agency is wild. It's wild times out here now.
Went and recruited, like, you know, with Atlanta, Naw and Luke Kennard there. I actually think that they've moved themselves off that dysfunction list, bro. I do. Them in Orlando, they helped themselves this offseason in the East.
So as much as we were talking, and I can make these parallels all the time, and I try to tell people in Atlanta this is what the Pistons did. You were on the treadmill for so long. In the Pistons case, they tore it down completely and started over. Yeah. Atlanta's not going to do that. They're just going to do it on the fly, where they say, we hope Kristaps can be healthy. Now you go to Luke Kennard and Nickeil Alexander-Walker to say, the East is open enough where the Hawks can be a top 6 team. And in Atlanta, that's all they're talking about. Hey, we got to get out of the play-in game. They're in the play-in game every year. Let's just get to the playoffs. But the Hawks right now, is their position they're a top 6 team in the East. I can see that very, very easily for them, that you don't know what Indiana has. You don't know. Are you saying Philly is going to come back? And I saw some odds yesterday that Philly was going to be the 4th or 5th team in the East. Come on, man. Show me some healthy knees and healthy lower extremities on these dudes, and then I'll believe. But yeah, that's. I think Atlanta's right there where they can be in the playoffs this year.
Ooh, you kind of stole my thunder a little bit, because I was curious on how you felt about the Hawks, given that you're in Atlanta now, and they've been very active. But I'll just ask you this point blank. As we are sitting here, July 2nd, 2025 at 9:21 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, are the Hawks further ahead than the Detroit Pistons?
Ooh.
No.
Ooh.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No. Because they don't have an all-NBA player who can kind of carry them, and they made the Pistons made the playoffs last year. I think that will be the differentiator. And you're getting, in addition to all of these other pieces in free agency, you're also getting Jaden Ivey, who might be the best of all of the new additions that you're making. So if all of that stuff comes together and the chemistry is there, then I think you can figure some of these things out. And in the Pistons case, most of this is going to be on their second unit. For the Hawks, it's going to be a little bit of both, where they're mixing and matching. They're getting Jalen Johnson back. There's some different things that have to happen for them. I think the Pistons are a little bit ahead, but I mean, same thing. We were talking about this. Malik Beasley was the make or break, or is that the guy? And now we're seeing that it isn't. That, I mean, they wanted. Did Schroeder go and make a ton more money in Sacramento? No. We thought he might be in the 18-20 range. Not quite that either. So the numbers are what the numbers are. I'm just surprised that he didn't go, and that the numbers weren't bigger, and that he decided to go. And if he's getting a starting role there, yeah, good for him. But who's closer, Sacramento or the Pistons? I mean, that's the sort of thing that you ask Schroeder is, you can start on a team that's going to be trying to duke it out in the West, or you can be on a team in the East that is going to make the playoffs and probably be a contender. And that's what he chose. So, I mean, more power to him.
You know what? I think it's appropriate. It's a perfect segue to get right into Swish or Break. It's our Swish or Break officially once JB Smooth Uber Sports MVP in the TD booth throws up that graphic. Let's get this thing going. Swish or Break. And you know what? I'm going to start off with a little bit of a layup line first. And just quickly, man, your first thoughts that pop into your mind. I'm going to start with you, Flannel Sam, on the Pistons' strength and the Pistons' biggest weakness.
Okay.
Chat family, I need to know from you guys. We've got a little bit of the draft, a little bit of free agency. What do you believe their biggest strength and their biggest weakness is?
Biggest strength is having Cade Cunningham. And I hate to take like the stock answer, but I think this is the year where he takes a leap into full-on, I don't want to say just universally accepted superstar, but I could see it. And I just think the biggest weakness, big man shooting. I don't think it's detrimental or anything, but as of right now, I'd say big man shooting.
What up, though, JB Smooth?
No, I kind of like that answer as well, too. I definitely think the weakness is the big man shooting. You're missing that right now. Hopefully, the trades aren't done, and, there's still some free agent prospects out there we can still grab. And as far as the strengths, I like the shooting now that you have with Karis LeVert, Duncan Robinson, and Cade, and to see what Ivy's going to bring to the table as well, too. So it looks very promising, but I still would like to see a big man getting here picked up in the offseason.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, Rod Beer, what about you, brother?
I think their strength is their depth now, that you can look at Duncan Robinson. I'm assuming he's not going to start. He could. You get a nice three-point shooter out there with Cade and with that starting group. But even if he doesn't, your second unit would have Karis, Duncan, Stu. You have a good a really good second unit where you could go 10 deep.
Definitely, and another year of Ron Holland and Marcus Sasser, too, who down the stretch, they played some pretty important roles. Ron Holland, from the beginning of the season, he made his presence felt by being an all-out hustle guy, defense guy, and willing to put up the dukes with anybody, man. Even they ain't even trying to fight. But I like that because, like T. Foster, the legend, always says, you need some of those a-holes on your team. And I think one more season of him understanding the NBA, one more season of him working, off-season of him working with Fred Vinson, one more offseason of putting on NBA weight and development, I am looking forward to what this bench can be. And I do believe that the Pistons are a little bit more of a balanced team right now than they were last year. I think that, yes, you had the volume shooting on lock. You knew that Tim Hardaway Jr. and Malik Beasley, as soon as that ball touched their hands, that ball could find its way into the basket within a second. And they were really, really good at that, at volumes, high percentage at high volume. But now I think that you have some players who can still hit at a pretty good percentage, maybe not at the volume, but where they may lack in volume, they're not less reliable from shooting. It's just that they give you a little bit more. They can do a little more. They can pass a little more. They can play make a little bit more. And I do welcome that for the Pistons, especially losing Dennis Schroeder, who played that type of a role for the Pistons in the playoffs. But when you look at the playoffs, these are players who I know Flannel Sam pointed out earlier. These are players who I actually believe are going to be able to more readily play their role. And we shift a little bit of that dependency off of any one bench player solely like we did Beasley to balancing it out amongst the whole team and allowing these younger players that are ready to step towards stardom to really carry that weight. But let me go to this next
and the weakness, the weakness is I think defense overall. That losing Schroeder, you're going to see that. You will see the impact of that as the year progresses. But social media and Twitter specifically is saying that Karis LeVert is trash. I think he's really going to help, especially on that second unit when there were times you couldn't buy a bucket and they got into these long scoreless droughts. Having Karis there will absolutely help this team.
Yes.
Yep, definitely, man. I'm looking forward to it. And on to the next question. Let me see here. You know, I wanted to be able to talk about Beasley just off the top because some people, they have this question, they have this concern, they have this comment. Whether charged or not, as long as he's not suspended for a full season, it's our first switch or break question, the Pistons should seek to bring Beasley back on a cheaper deal. Swish or break, Flannel Sam?
I am going to go brick. Because of semantics, you said seek. If it falls in their lap, fine. If it's something so cheap you can't refuse it, fine. But I've been on record saying earlier on in the show that at the end of the year, we're going to look at Duncan Robinson as more impactful in 25-26, including the playoffs, than Malik Beasley was last year. No disrespect to Beasley's regular season, but very high on the Duncan Robinson signing. So I'm going to say brick because of the word seek.
Yeah, what up though, JB Smooth?
If it's cheap, sure, but I'm still going to be a little hesitant about bringing him back just with everything going on right now. But if it's cheap, as Flannel said, and it falls in your lap, yeah, go for it.
This ain't quite a switch. This is like one of those toilet bowl rolls.
Yeah.
Almost looks like it's about to roll out, but it kind of falls in.
Yeah, one of those. Like I'm still not 100% convinced on it. I like that analogy better. Defense goaltending.
Hey, what up though, Rob here? What say you?
I'm going to say this is a wedgie. This is an in-between.
That's probably so appropriate.
I think it's going to bring a lot of distraction at the end of the day because every day there's somebody from out of town. Every road game, somebody asking about this. Is this a distraction? Yes, it's a distraction because you're asking about it again. I don't think they want to have that. I think the ship has sailed. There's really not a fit for him roster-wise anymore. So unless they trade or do something else, I just don't think it fits anymore.
You know what? I agree with that. We talked about, this aspect of knucklehead energy. And if we said this even about J-Mo, who everyone said he's a good person. But even Dan Campbell said we need him to mature. And so it's like keeping that same energy. It's like you want to make sure that same aura or atmosphere around a player, it continues to be one that's maturing towards the benefit of the team and showing that these people are putting in that work in the gym. Hey. It was interesting to see on Malik Beasley. That's where he hit the jump. But you know what? Let me see here. Where's that next one? Here we are. Because this is one that kind of coincided with the question that Flannel Sam asked you. The Detroit Pistons are still a top 6 team in the East.
You know what? Swish. I can't glaze the Duncan Robinson signing as much as I did and then go brick. I love what the Hawks did. You're Hawks now, Rod Beard. I like the I think the Bane addition for the Magic could potentially be worth what they gave up, but at the same time, Pacers no Halliburton, Bucks just released Dame. Who knows how Miles Turner is going to fit on the team? I'm good. Knicks still don't have a coach. I'm going to go that they will be a top 6 team.
Yeah, definitely, because they brought back Gary Trent Jr. On the
Yeah,
low.
that's a good move for them.
That's a good move,
Yeah.
but they lose Brook Lopez, who's
Yeah.
a Pistons killer. They do bring in Miles Turner, who's a Pistons killer, but not quite to the same level. It's going to be interesting to see. I do believe the Pistons are primed to retain that top 6. But JB Smooth, how do you feel about it?
Oh, I think this is an easy switch, man. This is
I like this confidence.
open layup right here. I mean, aside from Cleveland, Boston, and you're interested in to see what Orlando does as well too. Milwaukee's just kind of like getting shot in the foot. Like what happened? You got rid of Dame. Giannis is over here wondering what the hell he's coming back to with this team. So it's up there in the air for Milwaukee, but definitely top 6. Come on now.
Hey, before we get to Rod, the chat, they got a live on this one. Lunchbox says no. Dante151, no. Swish. Shot 216, he believes that they are top 4 right now. What up, though, with Detroit Gunny? Swish from 30 feet.
Wow.
He's deep. He's back there from Steph Curry range, man. Let me see here. Weezy D303, top 6, easy. Uncle Wayne, top 4. Charles McClain, brick. Big CP believes that Boston is done. I actually disagree with that. I think they got some pedigree.
No, Boston not done.
They got some. What say you, Rod Beer?
This is a top 6. This is a top 4 discussion now. Like, let's say Cleveland and Orlando. Let's make those givens. Is Boston better? Question mark. Don't know.
I still think yes.
There's so many other. Yeah, but there's so many other teams that have question marks.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's star for star now, though. Look at my shirt.
Supporting cast and depth, I think, are going to keep the Pistons in the top 4 discussion. They may not be by the end of the year, but they are definitely top 6. But you can wonder about top 4. There are fewer question marks with the Pistons than there are with every other team that's in that same realm. Is Porzingis going to be healthy? He's really the linchpin to all of this. If they don't have Porzingis, they don't really have a true center that's been tested and kind of gets it. Besides a Okongwu, and I wouldn't say a Okongwu is a full season starter that you count on and makes you a top 4 team. And the Pistons bring most of that stuff back. And what they don't bring back, I think they improved on. Is Duncan Robinson going to be better or give you the same production as Beasley? Yes. When you look at THJ versus Karras, that's a wash, probably. In terms of leadership, THJ may have been better, but I think in the second group and a clear second group guy for Karras puts him in a better spot. And you're getting Ivy back. You don't have questions about it. Are they as good in any places? It's are they worse? And it's probably no in most of these.
Goodness gracious, I like that. And you know what? This is the last one before we wrap up the Woodward Pistons segment. Trajan Langdon, he's had to pivot. We have to keep that in mind with this context. But swish or brick, Trajan Langdon has not done enough this offseason, even considering the fact of the Malik Beasley news. Swish or brick, Flannel Sam.
I am going to say a slight swish with the context of the Beasley situation is tough to navigate, and I think the way that he handled getting the replacement was more than adequate. I'd still like one more move as of right now, but so I'll say a slight. He hasn't done enough, but it hasn't been bad by any stretch of the imagination.
Hey, what say you, JB Smooth? You think Trajan Langdon has not done enough this offseason?
This is one of those
it's tough.
those layups that don't really go in, but you, as Angel Reese said, gets one of those me bounds, and then you put it back up there. So it was a slight brick, but then you put it right back up there, and it went down. So as Flannel said, I like the way Trajan's navigating this whole Beasley thing.
Yeah.
If things fall into place and he actually comes back off a cheaper deal, all right, cool. But so far, I mean, I like the picks that he's had and people that he's picked up, but once again, I still need that big man.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. But given the circumstance, I would actually throw a brick out there.
Really?
If we believe that the conversation is that they're still a top 4 team, that's because of, as currently constructed, that's because of, in part, what he's done to at least go out there and do what I think I saw something DNC ENT. He believes we made lateral moves, but I think given the circumstance, that's why it is just enough for this team if they still have top 6, top 4 expectations. But what say ye, Rod Beard?
What did we say he needed to do? It's kind of take care of and get 2 of the 3 big free agents they had and go out and get Nas Reed, gone. All of the big 3J, gone. All of the bigs that we talked about was the biggest sort of how you can improve this team. Miles Turner, gone with a bag. Like, you weren't getting any of those guys. Santi Aldama, gone. All of the bigs were gone before he really even got started to do anything. So for what he could do, and then it's just, you're trying to start your car and the alternator's messed up. You just got to fix one thing at a time. And the Beasley thing came out of the blue because they were already looking at the deal for that. So you fix that thing with going to get Duncan Robinson, and you give up Tech. I mean, you certainly upgraded at that thing. So I think he's done enough. Can you go and get another 4 to try to make it a little bit better? You can. But is this roster right now as constituted a playoff team? Yes. Is it a top 4 team? You can debate it. But can he do a little bit more? Yeah. But has he done enough? Yes.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with really all the sentiments here. And Cartier, he asks, how do we get better? Because he said you just can't keep going out there and drafting in the 20s and signing Karis LeVert. I believe, as we've said for I don't know how many years, when we saw Orlando and Houston both make the leap, we said it was on whose backs, whose responsibility? Those young players that they drafted high. There was a lot that they placed on Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero, and those guys helped lead the Magic to play in. They helped lead them to some early successes that we would have traded early on. We said, look, the Magic just passed us up. The Rockets, we were at the same level, they passed us up. The Cavs, we saw what they did the first couple years, and then boom, they turned it all the way around underneath the J.B. Bickerstaff. And so, you know, I'm looking at this team now finally being in a position to where those young players can be the ones that help move this team forward, because they have to get better. Otherwise, why are we drafting them in the top 5? You know, these guys, Asar, Ron Holland, Jaden Ivey, and Cade Cunningham, you want to see these guys continue to be what lottery picks are supposed to be, and those are difference makers for your franchises, especially on the eve of these guys becoming restricted free agents after this coming season. So, you know what? Shout out to Jabari Smith. You know, once a long time ago, man. Kool-Aid. That was all I wanted was Jabari Smith here in Detroit, and it didn't happen. Shout out to him getting that deal, 5 years, 122 from Houston. But it spelled to me, Rogers, one last thing, that it's probably going to bode really well for the Pistons in the negotiations with both Duren and Ivy.
Yeah. Let's just leave it at that. Yeah.
You know what? Thank you to the legend, Rod Beard. Oh my gosh, it takes everything in me to not say Detroit News Rod Beard, especially as you still repping the clothes and everything. But you still Detroit Rod Beard.
Gotta let him know.
You still Detroit Rod Beard. We're gonna definitely let him know.
Gotta let him know.
And Carly's senior sports editor at the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Thank you so much for your time, Rod. Thank you. Appreciate you, brother.
You got it, bros. Have a good show.
Thanks, Rod.
Hey, let's say what up to some friends and get to everybody's favorite segment. So, or do we just wait? Because that's such an appropriate ad read.
I mean, you know, we'll do it when we come back. How about you do Lady Jane's, and then I'll do that.
Perfect. Guys, let's be honest. We like simple stuff like gimmies on the golf course. We like uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's haircuts for men. Walk in, sign in, and before you know it, you're handsome and clean. Lady Jane's open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Why do we fight? We fight to protect the innocent, to hold the powerful accountable, to bring the oppressors to justice. Why do we fight? We fight to secure and preserve our civil liberties, to get each and every one of our clients the justice they deserve, and to make the lives of real people just like you whole again. ThenFights.com.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
It's part beauty, part beast. It's for those who dare to be different, for those who want to stand out, and for those who are built for more. The all-new Ineos Grenadier combines strength and style for an unmatched driving experience. Sold exclusively at Feldman Ineos of Waterford.
At Gold Crown, concentrates are their bread and butter, crafting elite combined extracts since the caregiver days. Gold Crown partners with craft growers across Michigan to bring you exclusive full spectrum concentrates, infused pre-rolls, and live resin infused gummies as well too. Their new line right now, the Crown Jewels, is here, gluten-free, effect-based, coated in nerds for that extra little pop. Find Gold Crown in over 300 dispensaries statewide. Smoke like royalty and all rise for the reign of the royal highs, only with Gold Crown, baby.
Hey, you know what? You guys already know. It's everybody's favorite. It is what's trending. And you know what, Dad with Tourette's? I see you. Next season is the most important offseason in decades. It definitely is. That's why they couldn't have fumbled this one. Imagine that. At least they did enough to plateau. But let's get to everybody's favorite, brother.
Let's do it.
Brought to you by
Gold Crown.
Hey, let's go.
And now it's time for the most electrifying segment on the internet. Bum, bum, bum. It's What's Trending with JB. Live on Wake Up Woodward.
JB Smooth. That's our MVP.
Hey, what's going on, chat family? What's up, fellas? Got some news for you as we prepare for this 4th of July 3-day weekend that we got going on. Stop over at your local Krispy Kremes and wear red, white, and blue, and you'll get a free donut.
Hey,
how about that?
So they really set up the glaze factory for America.
See,
that's pretty dope.
Shout out.
Shout out Krispy Kremes. Hey, head over there on 4th of July, get yourself a free donut early in the morning, you know? Treat yourself.
I like the fact that you said early in the morning because you're not getting that at lunchtime.
No.
It's going to be
No, by lunchtime on the 4th of July, I expect you to be like in coma mode.
Because you know the one over there by Oakland Mall, that line probably going to be wrapped around the building and wrapped all the way back to like the home store and all of that.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And a little bit more news going on right now. The Japanese have discovered the fastest internet out here right now. I don't even know if anyone's heard of this, but 1.2 petabytes. You can literally download the entire Netflix catalog in 1 second. So I don't know how much this internet costs or when this is coming over to the States, but I feel like we need this. What do you guys think?
Wow.
I can't even imagine what that would be like.
That's terrifying. Yeah, I'm sitting here like, wait, what?
What's a petabyte?
I have no idea.
That's insane to me. That's insane speed. Like, do we even need that?
I mean,
that's like at the speed
of
thought almost.
Somebody needs it. I don't know who, but
all that info in 1 second is crazy.
A little bit dangerous out here. Like I said, technology is advancing pretty quick on us right now.
I feel like if I'm not careful, it'll transmit me through the petawatts.
Hey, well, the good news, guys. Hey, the good news is Japan's an island, so if like technology runs wild and breaks out, Japan turns into Jurassic Park. Essentially, the robot version of it.
Yeah, with AI taking over everything.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty crazy. That's kind of scary now.
I'm telling you, it's getting dangerous out here. It's getting very dangerous. Also, what's dangerous is the fact that no one stopped this ride to help this man out.
Whoa.
Whoa, what? I don't even mean to laugh at his face. Look at my man in the back. At least you got a friend who's like, bro, you all right? What happened here, dog? I really wish, like, at the last second, was he like, no, I don't want to go? And then the ride was like, too late.
Too late, taking off. I think he just slid out of the chair, so that's proper.
Shout out to his good friend for making sure to get this moment on camera.
Yeah, you know, you got to capture all these good moments out here. And finally, one last video for you guys right now. This is my man's first and last day on the job. I can't say this has happened to me, but if it has to someone else, I don't want to feel this pain. Steady. Steady. Oh.
Oh, no. Move.
Nope, his foot is stuck underneath the pallet jack with this heavy fruit pallet right now.
Oh, that's probably that pain that you don't feel right away. And then as soon as you look and realize what's happening, you're probably like, oh my gosh, I'm left.
Oh, man. All for a job. That's so that's so
now that I
disappointing.
understand what to look at, flannel. Did you see his toes are done? He ain't got no toes. I almost feel like that slammed out so hard he could just rip his foot off.
I have a friend from college. We were roommates,
Look at this
and
flannel.
he worked at Home Depot. Got ran over by a forklift, and he has partial foot removal. Like he doesn't have all of his toes, but he collected a pretty nice settlement out of it. So as long as this guy passes his drug test, he might be making a check.
So there's advantages and disadvantages to this.
Why did he put his foot there?
Was he wearing steel toe boots?
It doesn't matter.
I
Look.
guarantee you those aren't
These
steel
are
toe
steel
boots.
crushers. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter.
Out for the season.
Just pain.
They're gonna waive him on that Dame Lillard contract though.
Oh,
that was tough.
Just wave him.
We already know. Here's your bag. Go home. Golly.
Just waving them right now. But that's it for what's trending, you guys. We got some more time, so let's hop into some mailbag while we can.
Any more people we gotta say what up though too?
Yeah, we gotta say what up to Loom, Feldman, and follow us on socials.
Hey, let's do it. Let's take a quick one then. We'll go out with some and then we'll come back with some.
Yeah. So Loom and Feldman.
Let's rock.
I turned my mic on, but hey, what's up, everybody? Enjoy Loom Cannabis refreshing buzzing favorites like watermelon, cherry, strawberry. You can cool off with two new summer flavors: raspberry lemonade, peach. Crack a can, take a sip, catch a buzz. They're available at any of Loom's 38 locations across Michigan. You can save 30% off your entire order online or in store if you use code WSN30. Go to loom.com today to make your purchase. And after you get high, go spend some more money on a new car. Feldman Chevrolet is Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, and they have 5 locations you can go to and get your new car at. This month's specials include a 2025 Silverado 1500 Crew Cab for $149 per month, a 2026 Equinox for $209 per month, and you can pick that up at Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, or Lansing. Feldman's taking care of you all over the state. Check them out.
Hey, Tony, what's up, bro?
Same circus, different clowns.
For sure. You want the usual, the big zip?
You know me too well.
I threw a little something extra in there for your ma.
Oh,
Hope
man.
she's doing all right.
Ay, guy, sei un santo. You're a saint.
All right, buddy, we'll see you next time, okay?
Grazie.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Stay connected with Woodward Sports on all social platforms. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, along with YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok for the latest sports news, live updates, and behind-the-scenes action. Don't miss out. Hit that follow button now and be part of Detroit's #1 digital sports network at Woodward Sports everywhere. We're back, and you know what? It's time for a little bit of mailbag. And I've already seen a lot of different questions hit the chat. So shout out to the chat family for supporting. If you haven't got the opportunity to, go on ahead and smash that like button. Close to our first like goal of the day, and we would appreciate you guys. And you know what? I'm gonna start this off with JB Smooth.
What's up?
Because I know that there was another day I wanted to be able to get you one of the wrestling or UFC questions. I believe we had run out of time. And I think it was Jesse Adams. So I'm going to start with his today. Jesse Adams, mailbag at JB. How'd you like that UFC card this past weekend? Best one in a while. Top, bottom, in my opinion. Top to bottom, in my opinion. By the way, I need to see, and he put a couple people in there. I don't quite know how to pronounce the name. So if you can see his in there, I definitely want you to be able to see it. But he says you want to see him within the next year. If not, then do you agree? Then when? Do you agree?
I'm trying to find his mailbag question. Oh, here, I got it. Yeah, shout out to Jesse Adams. It was a very nice UFC card as well, too, partying on Saturday. I was watching a lot along with the races earlier on in the day, plus the UFC that night as well, too. And Night of Champions was also early in the afternoon as well, too. So I was just glued to my TV for the majority of the part. But top to bottom, by the way, I need to see Islam and Illy within the next year. I agree with that. I don't mind that. I don't mind seeing that fight. Hopefully, maybe towards the end of the year, given how these fighters are going right now. It all depends on what Dana White sees with the schedule and trying to place everything. But I could definitely see those probably around like a November, December date, if anything, to give these guys a little bit more time to train.
Hey, shout out to JB Smooth and continue to stay tapped in with JB and KG on Woodward ringside. I can't wait till we get some of these watch parties for that too, man. For some of these events that go down. 'Cause you guys do a great job at that. Shout out to all of the side content that's going on here. And realistically, it's main content. I know we got the 4 shows going on in a week. But the work that you guys put in, the dedication, the quality, the boots on the ground approach, getting credentialed to events, giving people behind the scenes access, and getting different interviews and such. I love what everybody's doing to crush it. So shout out to people like you, Cavassier, obviously our Woodward Wings people, Nick and Broder, the Lions Weekly Update, and more that's coming to the network. Continue to stay tapped. Can't wait to see how Justin flourishes with what's going on with this Saturday content lineup, man. It's going to be dope for college football season.
And Fontecchio just put out his thank you to Detroit.
Fontecchio?
Yep.
You know, they took a chance on him, and he was grateful for the contract that they did give him. He meshed well with Kay Cunningham, and I don't have anything against him. He got a foot injury here, and he never quite bounced back. And you know what? Sometimes things like that happen. But shout out to Tech. Wish him well in the future, and I hope that he gets better, man. I hope that foot gets better for him. But what up, though, with Detroit Gunny? Feldman Mailbag, what is more likely, the Lions win 14 games or the Tigers win 100 games? And I'm going to be fair with you. I was already bullish on them before the season at 91. I think it's more possible that the Tigers win 100 because they are tremendously better than I thought they were even at 91 wins.
Yeah, I would say neither of them happen, but more likely probably Tigers win 100. I'd have to look at their schedule a little bit closer, but hey, if it looks to be – the AL Central isn't any good. They still got a lot of games up against Tigers 100, no question about it. I'm not saying they'll get it, no question about it. I'm saying it's more likely than the Lions winning 14.
And, you know, I see you – let me see here. Shawshank Sub-Romanium, it says – Mailbag. How about CP3 to back up Cade? Leadership. Pass in the half-court offense. Levert, Ron Holland to run with him on the second unit and play defense. And for me, it's more about the vibe and the mojo that he's going to bring to that locker room or not. Who's the unquestioned leader? Is he truly backing up Cade? Is it Cade's voice? To me, those things matter. I do believe that there is something there for CP3 because we've seen him go from organization to organization, and we've seen really them have some renaissances there to some degree. Now, it's not to the same effect as it was when he became a journeyman, but I don't know, man. What do you guys think about this? CP3 is a backup. I don't know quite about the vibe or even quite about the fit.
I was going to say he was on the Spurs last year, and he played well, but he also got to be the starting point guard. Their star is Victor Wembanyama, a guy who plays a different position. In a vacuum, I love what old man Chris Paul has become with less usage, less minutes. I'd probably do it, but I'm not pounding the table for it.
Like a backup?
Not a backup, just a backup.
That the third string backup?
Shout out.
Like break in case of emergency backup?
No, he's better than that. Even this stage is better than that.
Hey, you know what? It's a shout out to What Up, Though, with Detroit Gunny. This is so appropriate because, you know, you're on a show that has Mr. Flannel, a.k.a. All Meats, No Sides. He asks, we got the 4th of July weekend. We got people that's going to be getting out the grill. You know, to be more appropriate, the Sean Beligian, the smoker. hot dogs or hamburgers?
I'm a hamburgers guy, but that's just a personal preference.
Goodness, you know what? I don't think you can beat a good hamburger. I think a
sure.
great hamburger is better than a great hot dog. What up, though, JB Smooth? Even though you can't go wrong with a Hebrew National beef frank. What up, though, JB Smooth?
I was gonna say you can't go wrong with either one of them, but if I'm getting the plate, I'm getting both of them. As they say, both of them.
Jeez. Man, I wonder what the chat is thinking too about this, but I'll definitely read them as they come in. Alan W. I understand the Tatum and Hallie are out, but why are fans looking at it like championship or bust for the Pistons? When has the team ever been a first-round exit and then went on to be a champion?
It's not championship or bust. I don't think anybody is saying that. I think what we're saying is that teams in the East are getting weakened, and that's just a fact. And it's an opportunity for the Pistons to make some headway. It certainly isn't championship or bust as of yet.
Yeah,
they're not at that exit of the highway.
Yeah, not at all, not at all. And it is a situation where you're looking at the Pistons and you want them to be able to take advantage of this East. You want them to be able to make improvements in this East. And we already had expectations before the injuries for them to be able to take a leap. After the injuries, you want to see this team be able to pivot appropriately and be able to field something that you think gives this team the best chance to improve. So let me see here. Charles McClain. I saw a mock trade where Tigers sent Holton, Meadows, and Carpenter to the Pirates for is that Cabrian Hayes and O'Neal Cruz to the Tigers. Does Harris do that deal? Yeah.
If he does, he's a damn fool. He won't. Cabrian Hayes is a bum. He's been a bum for the last couple of years, and O'Neal Cruz is the anti-Sam. All aura. Oh, he's tall and big, and he hits the ball hard. But you know what his batting average is this year? 209. O'Neal Cruz is a bum. Parker Meadows and Kerry Carpenter right now are better baseball players than O'Neal Cruz is. I don't even give a damn who doesn't like it. O'Neal Cruz stinks. He's just all size and aura and cool and no substance. He blows.
Hey, Jesse Adams, he kind of picked up what I was putting down earlier. He says, when we guys start previewing college football, maybe not as a whole, but maybe our local teams. I know Flannel will be jacked for Underwood. You know what? We do got that dude, Justin, who's going to be bringing college platform here to the Saturday lineup. It's going to be before the noon kickoffs and such. It's preferable. But I can't wait to see how that platform develops. And it will be college football, college basketball with a focus in depth on our local teams here. So I can't wait to see how that all pans out. But I know that everything my dog does, he crushes. So
hey, and by the way, for people who have weeping fits and panic attacks over Riley Green's strikeouts, guess who leads all of baseball in strikeouts? O'Neal Cruz. Wow, he fucking sucks. I'm sorry. O'Neal Cruz is the anti-Flannel. He's the anti-Flannel.
Oh snap, man! Let me see here. There was another one that just passed me by. All right, Ryan's reaction: hamburgers or tacos? All right, Ryan, now you're fighting dirt.
Wait, there's tacos at the barbecue?
I don't know if you're having tacos at the barbecue,
Los
but
hamburguesas.
You know what I mean? I like tacos anytime, especially if they're from Mexican Village.
Beef or chicken?
Oh, beef. You have to. If I'm at Taco Tiende, though, the chicken.
I mean, you have to classify. You have to call it a chicken taco if you're going to put chicken in it. Otherwise, it's just beef is what a taco is, JB. Like, if it's anything that's not, you press if it's like it's chicken taco or fish taco. If it's just taco,
I'm just saying people have their preferences, it's beef, chicken, huh?
I'm telling you, man, Mexican Village is elite.
Hell
They
yeah.
are elite, bro.
Oh yeah, for
Let me
sure it
see
is.
here. Mike Reeves just says steaks.
I mean,
That's a
that
real
works
man
too.
there. Steaks. How do you like your steak cooked?
Like medium well.
Medium well?
Yeah.
I used to go like hard line, well done. And my pop said he got into corporate America. And he tried a medium well done steak, and he was like, it changed his life. And so I started doing it too, and it changed my life, man.
Yeah.
What about you, Jay? Because I know in our community, that boy's usually a hockey puck, bro.
It's usually a hockey puck, but I'm more the medium well person. Although I have seen people eat it just kind of just plain raw, like it's still bloody for the majority of it too, which is just gross.
What'd you say,
What's up, Chase?
No color, no flavor. Like, you guys ever watch Gordon Ramsay? No color, no flavor.
Yeah.
You gotta. It's scary. I used to be like you guys. I used to go no pink, but you gotta slowly dip your way into it. It's better. Trust me. I have the worst palate at the network. Ask Spenny, ask Neil. I get clowned on Big D. You gotta have a little red in your meat. A little bit.
A little pink.
Fair enough.
Little pink.
Oh man, oh man, oh man. Let me see here. Freddie felt there better not be anything with raisins in it at the cookout. Thank you. No raisins in the potato salad. Oh my word, no raisins. I'm sorry if I'm offending anybody's raisin potato salad.
That's probably gonna be raisin in the potato salad.
Eric Allen puts, that is not blood. Talk about, yeah, I need a little bit of red, a little pink. I remember my pops, he was like, look, that's not blood, man. It's just the color of the meat. It's just how it cooks, it's the sauce and what it is. I was scared at first, but now, medium well, that's how I get it done, man. But, let me see here. Chuck Brewer, Kool-Aid, I am in the wave, it over the flame crowd. Oh, that's it. Oh, wow. So, Chuck Brewer is just
like rare.
Just
yeah. I've seen people do that before. Just glaze it over the flames just a little bit and like, all right, I'm good, I'm ready to go, and like it's still bleeding. So that's just gross to me. But
Greg, I like medium rare. Xavier D, get that pink, boys. Jesse Adams, medium or medium rare are the only ways to get a steak. Look, you guys you're not going to get me onto the medium rare. I can't go there. I can't do it.
It's raw. It's fucking raw.
I love it.
Shout out Gordon Ramsay.
It's raw. It's rotten.
Baby, I like it raw.
Oh.
Kid number 5 on the way.
Starting 5. Let's rock, man.
I love it too on Kitchen Nightmares when it's so catastrophic that Gordon Ramsay forces them to shut it down during dinner service.
Shut it down.
Shut it down.
Shut it down.
Well, same thing with, like, you must love John Taffer when he's like, we're going to do the trial run, even though he knows everything's going to fail.
Yeah.
He just loses his shit.
He loses his shit more than Gordon Ramsay, I feel like, when he just comes in there like, do you see this? Do you see this right here?
Golly. All right, Saturday Night Vibes, JB.
We definitely do.
I have to make that a thing. I might have the time to make that a thing.
Go check out No Chill on Saturdays. That's what you need to fill your Saturday with. No Chill with JB Smooth. If you don't watch it, I fucking hate you.
What's up, Flannel?
I'm sorry. Like, nothing. I'm going to let it go.
Let's get
but
this fast. Come on. Hey.
I'm sorry.
Let's break this thing down. Shout out to intern Ryan, intern Haley in the building. You saw her in the sound booth over here with Cavassier Chase. And we will start there, man. Shout out to Cavassier Chase in the sound booth holding it down. What up, though, brother?
Hey, what up, though? Hanging out. We have Haley training up and learning the sound booth right now, if you want to say hey to everybody.
Hey, guys.
But yeah, like I said, fill your Saturdays with No Chill with JB Smooth. Go check out Woodward Wings as well. I'm pretty sure Woodward Wings comes out and then followed closely by No Chill with JB Smooth. So go give both of those a check, a like and a follow and a subscribe. If you don't, well, don't come back. I hate you.
Shout out to our brothers as always, KG and Broder. Woodward Sports MVP in the TD booth. That's JB Smooth. What up, though, man?
Hey, what's going on? Shout out to everyone staying tapped in with us today as well, too. Go check out another episode of Fast and Loose is out right now for your viewing pleasure. Woodward Ringside as well, too. Woodward Wings, they just had their draft special as well, too. Previewing some prospects. Things didn't go their way, but you can still check it out and still to see how everything went down and compare it. And also, if you're looking for more JB, No Chill Podcast is out right now. Go check it out.
Let's rock. Hey, that dude Justin over there hard at work as always. What up, though, brother?
What up, though?
Breathe, man, breathe.
I'm
It's okay.
It's okay.
I know that there's also 2 months left in the offseason, so I'm just praying that there's something that is done. So, but thanks for a great day, chat. I'll see you around.
And you know what? At Flannel Sandal, Vetter the Network, Vetter the Squad, somebody I've learned a lot from sound booth to doing the phones to how we support each other even in those booths to what we do up here on the desk, man. Shout out to Flannel Sam, man. Shout out to you, brother.
Hey, shout out to Ryan's reaction in the chat. You're my guy today. You're my guy today. I appreciate you. But Tigers doubleheader today. I'm honestly, the way that the Tigers play, they'll probably split today and win the series tomorrow, which is perfectly great. But fun day at Tigers baseball.
Fun day at Tigers baseball, and I can't wait. We'll probably talk a lot more of those Jungle Cats tomorrow. And it's your boy Brandon Dan, K Detroit Kool-Aid. As always, chat family, when I tell you I'm grateful for you guys, this opportunity, it means the world. Go ahead and smash that like button. Support WUW, support the rest of Woodward Sports as well. Big D Energy right after us, and you also got Ermanni and Edwards, and then the heavyweights. Most importantly, you guys have a blessed day.
That's right.